Start off roll call vote. Bob DeToma,
Here.
Lucas,
Here.
Jim,
Gallagher here.
Holly,
Present.
Sean is absent, and Justin, our VA rep, is absent as well.
Go figure.
So- Yeah, so we'll skip the minutes. I do need to talk to Sean because if y'all remember last week last month, doing that. Last month there was an issue with some of our minutes missing. So I need to follow up with Sean to make sure that he got those turned in. And then I think we have 2 months of minutes that we'll need to review and then vote on for the next meeting. So I'll reach out with him and talk with him about that. BSO notes, I think really the only notes that I'm aware of is the great news, which I'll turn over to Bob to talk about the intro letters.
Yep, so the closer to 700 intro letters have been stamped, labeled, and postage has been applied, and I believe they went out in the mail today.
Wow,
So
good for you guys.
after the scouts got through stuffing everything that we had printed out on the first go around, Justin Souza got a hold of me and mentioned that he had way more labels than we had provided envelopes for. So he and I quickly stuffed 100 envelopes and cut them care of. So that little project is on its way, and hopefully we'll get some good results.
Yeah. So a year, we've been in committee for a year, and we got all the letters out. So that's pretty awesome. Definitely wanted that done within our first year, and we made it. So thank you for all the help. Holly, thank you for getting the Boy Scouts up there. And that was a huge help. Bob for basically finding all the ways that we can warm around the processes and procedures that were blocking our way. So that's great. So hopefully we'll get some good responses back from everybody, and we'll be able to get this show on the road. I'm also going to start reaching out, like the DAV. They have a meeting in Worcester every month, and they have some folks that are in Grafton. So I'm asking them to, they can share their information with us. And I've got a couple of other contacts, and I'm asking if they can maybe point those people in our direction to just kind of tackle, any resource that we can. So if any of y'all know of like a group of veterans around here, please let them know about us and have them pass on their information to us. Any questions on the intro letters? All right. As far as the DAV, so Bob and I went up and met them. They're in Leominster. They have they do a lot with homeless veterans up there. They actually have, if you remember, like base housing set up. That's kind of what it reminded me of. It's a little neighborhood. It's on a university, a college campus. Bob, do you remember the college campus name?
Wachusett Community College?
I think that's what it was. But I guess they go in and they purchase or they rent from the college campus these dorms / houses that aren't in use anymore, and they renovate them. They looked really nice, and it's for, down on their luck veteran families. This place was, and they bring them in and they help them get a stable home life, and then help them find jobs. So that's their big focus up here is homeless veterans, but they also help out with benefits. They do all the things that the Legion and the VFW does. They would love to partner with us. They thought it was awesome that we were reaching out to them and trying to build that sense of community. They loved our ideas. They loved what we were doing. So they want to help. They did suggest, so, we had on the books that we were going to do a coat drive. They brought something up that I didn't think about, which is if you do a coat drive, you now have to sterilize them. And I think this actually came in at the end of our last coat drive. I do remember this after he mentioned it. Somebody brought that up. But what Dan Stack and Michael Lila what they suggested is instead you can do a food drive. It's a little bit easier for people. You can open up the aperture a little bit more. And then they suggested that maybe we just well, they said that we could drop it off there at the DAV, and they have a veterans food bank. But what Bob and I were talking about is we could split it 50-50 between the Grafton Food Bank and the Veterans Food Bank. So we're helping
Great
out.
idea.
Yeah.
So
It's
No.
super that you found a place to drop it off because, I mean, a drive for food is wonderful. And then you say, well, what do we do with it?
Right.
You know, but if the DAV will take it, and we know that Grafton will take it, so good
Yeah.
good for you. Well done.
So- and I think it's definitely sticking with our charge. We're helping veterans. We're helping the town of Grafton. We're just not there to where we're combining them yet, but it is the local chapter of the DAV, and I think it will be good to get our names out there with them.
What'll be the target date for that?
So honestly, I would like to start. I'd like to run this for at least a couple of months. I don't know if anybody's done this before, what everybody's thoughts are. So I'm really open to anything. I know that we can use the GCTV because Bob pretty much lets us live there. I think we can reach out to like CVS, Stop and Shop, and ask them to put boxes up. Maybe even the high school. Those are just kind of my initial thoughts. What is y'all's thoughts? Y'all have any comments or questions on it?
Well, I think I already mentioned to you that we should talk to Carl down at the Homefield Credit Union because
Yeah.
He said he would support us any way he could. And he's a former Marine, so I'm sure he'd be on board. The other thing I was going to recommend, which in addition to food, we should probably word our request in such a way that we get personal hygiene items too. Brushes, toothpaste, deodorant, mouthwash.
Yeah.
Socks.
So I was just going to say socks, yeah.
Mike, I'm wondering on the food drive, what do we do with things that need refrigeration?
We would ask for non-perishable items, canned goods, box goods. What I've seen done before is this would be really hard, and I think we would only want to. This is a separate idea. I'm thinking, what I've always enjoyed when I was an airman is the first cert, the commander, everybody. They would throw all the leadership would put money together, and they would buy the airmen with families like a Thanksgiving meal. I think that's separate. I think we do that, if we know some veterans that may be down on their luck. But sorry, I'm not trying to sidetrack from the food drive, just something that popped in my head while we were talking about it. But Jim, to answer your question, we wouldn't ask for that stuff. We would ask for canned goods and box goods, non-perishable items.
Thank you.
So Stony, this is Holly.
I'm sorry, you came in broken, Holly.
Can't hear you.
Yeah, I gotta get off this VPN. Sorry. Can you hear me? All right, let me
Yep, we heard that.
adjust.
Great
Gotta love
smile.
VPN. Lucas, do you think, are you based out of Hanscom with Natick Labs, or are you in actual Natick?
I'm in Natick.
Lot better commute now, huh?
Yeah, and I work from home 4 days a week.
Nice.
Life is hard.
Yep.
So I like the idea of getting, Bob, I like the idea of what you were mentioning. I can't remember the gentleman's name right now, but the credit union manager, getting him involved. And then I know that he's been really supportive of anything we do, so we could probably throw a box out there too. What is y'all's thoughts on time frame? We were to start it in October and run it into December. We can make a couple of stops. Is that too long? Is that? I'd rather have it focused. I'm sorry, what did you say, Lucas?
I think that's a good idea.
So October to right before Christmas.
Yeah.
Maybe end it the week before Christmas.
Perfect.
And then is there anyone that would want to step up and lead this?
What way?
I'm sorry,
What way?
just as far as getting the boxes together, getting the signs together, putting it out there. We can all check. It's just somebody that can provide updates on, hey, here's where we are. You know, we need somebody to hold all the stuff so it's not going out to all these different places. Just somebody to put together where we can store it, reach out to the Grafton Food Center or food bank, just that kind of stuff, just the logistics of it.
So how many locations do you think we would want to tackle? Because if we have a drop off, we have a drop off at the TV studio and one at the home field credit union. And then where else would we put one? I'm asking this question because I've started to notice that, you know, like there's the food bank donation center at Stop and Shop, and how we would have, I guess we would have to really get out on the street and talk to these people, because how do we get the homeless veterans food drive separated from the normal Grafton Food Bank food drive?
Yeah.
Otherwise, it all ends up in one bin and it disappears, and we end up with nothing, I guess. So it's probably not such a big task if there's a box in the credit union or in the TV studio, but there's probably a little bit more confusion if we put it inside Stop and Shop. But we can kick it around and discuss it. I mean, if one of us goes down and talks to the manager of Stop and Shop, and I can certainly reach out to Carl, and I can even talk to the folks at the food bank, I mean, because they're in the building of the municipal center anyway, so.
Yeah. I think it would work well if we had a box in Stop and Shop and CVS, because for like CVS, for your personal hygiene products, somebody's in there. Stop and Shop has all the food, but I get what you're saying with it could get confusing. I'm actually not aware of where the Grafton Food Bank box is in Stop and Shop.
I think it's on, behind the cash registers, against the wall there.
Because I'm used to seeing it, you know, you see that stuff up by the entry and exit. So you could have two
Yeah.
boxes there. So as soon as somebody walks in, you have a big sign that says, you know, Veterans Advisory Committee.
I think it's right near where the newspaper rack is set up.
Sometimes, you know, like they'll have these little bags or something. So it's just, you just get the little sticker, right? And it's like a $10 bag. And then the store will put $10 worth of goods either in the bag, or once they scan that card, then they'll say, okay, here's the goods that we're going to give for that donation. I don't know if you've seen that. I've seen it like in a paper bag, but they sometimes they have stuff in them for food. They normally don't, but you just kind of get the bag and I'm sorry, I have no idea what that is. Hang on one second. Somebody's outside edging their yard. Apologize for that. Yeah, so you just take the bag or the little coupon up front. So we can maybe work with them on that kind of stuff. But that, once again, that's if we have somebody in charge of it, somebody that's willing to run with it, then they can just put those ideas together. said we don't have to go big this time, kind of like the coat drive. We're starting something new. We can throw it out in a couple of places, see what we get. If we want to expand it after we go, okay, we've got, it's been October, not really seeing a lot of stuff, then we can expand it. But really it'd just be up to that person that would run it, ask for help whenever they need it.
Should we reach out to Carmen and Stash at the two posts and find out if we can get their participation? I mean, because it maybe when they're in there having a cold beverage, that somebody can come by and drop off some donations in a box there. And
yeah,
I mean, just to increase the number of spots. But I'm committed to reaching out to the food bank and to Carl. And and then as far as the boxes go, I mean, what do you have in mind? Just setting up a cardboard box and decorating it? Or I just had another thought while I was asking that question. What if we physically set up a table outside of the Stop and Shop
And ask for it that way.
and ask people who are going in, on your way out, would you mind dropping
Well,
something into the bin?
Can I add to that? I think what you may want to do is have a handout that says, here we are, this is the Grafton, Veterans Group, and we're collecting food, and it's going to go to the veterans and to the thing there, so that as you come out, or while you're shopping, if you could keep us in mind, and we have boxes inside, and you can leave those donations there.
Yeah.
So this way you don't have to, try to get everybody, here, do you have a box of ham or whatever? You give them a letter. And
Ham.
yeah, there's not a lot of them around because they're a big seller.
Do we want to solicit cash donations for people who don't want to bother dropping off a can?
It's touchy.
I would be willing to do that as long as we all agree that all the money would go to buying food.
Yeah.
Like the money would be donated either cash or it would all go to food or maybe gift cards or something like that.
Yeah.
I
So
don't see a
Stony,
problem
this
with
is
that.
Holly again. Can you guys hear me this time? I had to go to my phone.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
Hal.
I know like recently taking the ethics training and stuff like that. I don't know if like we are kind of like legally able to kind of handle the money without like, I guess, an approved like system of tracking. So I don't know your further thoughts on that, or we'd have to go back to the town to get permission for that over?
What we could do on that letter is put on the bottom, if you'd rather make a cash donation, please send your check to this address payable to DAV and mark it for food. And we could give them an address. That way we stay out, and yet if they want to give money, they've got the piece of paper.
Thought, wasn't there a way didn't we talk to Evan about this before? I thought we did. I think there is a way that we can do it. As long as you mentioned, Holly, I think we have to keep track of it, and the money can't go, it has to go towards whatever we're donating for. But yeah, that is something that we'll need to.
Yeah, and then they're going to send you a check payable to the Grafton Veterans Association or whatever. Now you're going to go to a bank and set up an account, as a nonprofit, so that you can cash those checks and send them somewhere else.
Right.
So I think it's best to stay away from handling the money. And then like if we do hand out a letter, that we can put on the bottom, here's an address if you want to make a cash donation.
Let me throw a different idea out at you, seeing as everybody's nervous about cash. And nice hat, there it is. Now that really shades your eyes.
Well, I'm trying to be not so red.
So what if we didn't solicit cash donations? What if we solicited the gift card donation?
Oh, oh, now
Yeah.
you're talking.
So I think, yeah, I think gift cards would be more appropriate. And then I'm assuming we would we do the same deal where we split it 50-50 with Grafton and the other organization over?
Definitely. Well, I don't know. I might it might make more sense to do the gift cards to the DAV
Yep.
because they deal with, like they'll have the family members, they deal with these people that are coming in versus, I don't know. I think the food bank is just,
mean,
a little-
it's
more of
nice
like a
to-
free
It's
for
nice
all.
that we're in town with them, but we are a veterans organization.
Yeah. Yeah.
I still say, let's pass out a letter and we can put all of this stuff in that letter. And then all we gotta do is stand out front and hand them to people.
Mhm.
You know?
No, I definitely agree that the letter would work.
So I can definitely
Right.
help draft a flyer if that's of interest, because I do quite a bit of those for the Boy Scouts, for our fundraising events. If that's something I can assign myself to share with you guys as a draft by like no later than mid next week.
See, Stoney loves anything that when you say like a flyer.
I love flyers.
Well,
Holly, my recommendation would be to keep the message on the flyer as brief as possible, because if it's more than a few lines, then people will just kind of look at it and disregard, people's attention spans can be pretty short nowadays, so.
Oh, yes, sir. I understand that completely, especially with,
You only
Young
have to
Boy
serve
Scouts, so-
Stoney, you don't have to serve me.
don't even have to serve me, but
I'd appreciate it if she did me, though.
hey, yeah,
She
you gotta
keeps
serve your
referring to
relatives.
me as the shithead across the street.
but Stoney also more than happy to put some bins up at St. Mary's Church as well. If I can talk
Okay.
to the pastor, and I'm sure that wouldn't be a problem.
So Holly, would you want to run with this? And once again, when I say run with this, it's we are all a team. We all help out each other all the time. You would not be doing all the legwork, but at least just having one person that's, hey, here's what we're doing, and just to herd all the cats.
No, absolutely. I'm definitely, if it's okay for a like a Wednesday of next week to provide the first draft of the flyer.
Yeah.
That's just all I request, just because we do have our Boy Scout medal drive and clothing drive coming up that we're working quite heavy on this weekend over.
Yeah, no problem. And if next week doesn't work, we'll just let me know. And
Yeah, no, that should be fine. It should be perfect. So I can definitely get something out to you guys next week.
Polly,
So-
we'll be home in a couple of weeks, and when we get home, I could help out as best I can, so.
yeah, and I like the church ideas too. I think that's another good thing to do. And yeah, Bob, I think if you could reach out to the Grafton Food Bank and then to Carl, and we can get that go moving forward. Before all that, though, we need to take a vote on switching from the coat drive to the food drive and having Holly run with it. So take a roll call vote. Bob DeToma in favor of moving the coat drive to a food drive with Holly in charge.
I don't really think we have to take a vote to do this, we can just do it.
We can?
Yeah,
Good.
I mean, if no one
Done.
disagrees, if no one disagrees with it, it's acclamation.
yeah, we would vote in favor of, if we had a budget, we would vote in favor of budgetary things. If anything that affects the town, I guess we would vote on, right, Jim? But
Yeah.
to make the simple decision to do a food drive rather
Do
than
this.
drive is, we just do it.
Or like a vote to throw me off the committee or something like that. That'd have to be a vote.
So moved.
I'd wanna
I
know
couldn't
who
get
did
enough
it.
votes for that, Jim. Okay. Well, then that makes this easy.
So
Um,
gentlemen, can I ask for the DAV, which location is this?
it's chapter, did he give me the chapter at the? So the chapter meets at 570 Mill Street in Worcester, the fourth Tuesday of each month. Their location though is Leominster, and I have their address somewhere, just not right off the top of my email here. But I can get that for you.
Okay, thank you.
It is quite a drive. It's about an hour away, but once again, you don't have to make that drive alone, or you don't have to do that drive if it doesn't work out for you. We're all here to help out as well.
Roger that, thank you.
Any other questions on the food drive?
No.
All right. Jim, I wanted to circle back with the Veterans Grave Area in Flagpole, because I saw that you sent out that email last week. So I just wanted to circle back and see if you had additional information.
I do have a little bit of additional information. When I sent that out, I think mostly I just sent it to you and Bob DeToma as the officers there. But basically what happened is that I was at a select board meeting while they were appointing people to the committees, and my old friend Andy Gelberg, I don't know how to say it, you know, you get these damn names, they get K's and J's in there and everything, but he's a Vietnam vet, and but I've known him for a long time, and he started talking about what he was trying to do with this old cemetery, and he's trying to get a plaque of some sorts and a flagpole for it. So we got together, and I suggested to him, and I'll make the suggestion to all of you now. I said, let us run with this, and what we'll do is we'll take the Veterans Committee, and as a committee, we will make a request in the Springtown meeting from the Community Preservation Committee for funding. But let me just tell you a little bit about what this is. It's the best we came up with. The name of it is the Old Cemetery. It's there. It's at the between Oak and Providence Road, and it's very easy to miss. But essentially, what we have, there's no signage there. We know that there are a lot of other people there. There's like 600, I think, people that are buried there, and 98 of them are veterans that have metal markers at their graves. But the thing that's incredible, of those 98 vets that are there, they're from the French and Indian War, the Spanish-American War, the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, World War I, and the last vet that went there was in 1989, and I'm thinking he was a World War II veteran. The cemetery itself, as best we could get from historic places, is that it was established in 1734, and 14 of the original 35 families that settled Grafton are buried there as well. And it's incredible to think that with all of these statistics, that there's no markers there or anything like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go out and get bids for a sign. And I talked to some people who had on the CPC that had jobs or had programs that they got the signs for. And I know exactly what I want. It's like 2 concrete poles and a large description. What would be on there is basically describing who is there. And we would have, as an aside, we would have the other people who were there, and basically we're a veterans organization, so we're going to aim it towards the 98 vets that are in there. And then at the bottom, we'll put a thank you for this from presented by the citizens of the town of Grafton, the Grafton Veterans Advisory Committee, and the Community Preservation Committee. So here's what I found out. On the sign itself is that as long as we're under 10 grand, I don't have to go out to bid. So I'm going to go and I'm going to sit down with the people at Sunshine Sign and let them know what we're looking to do. The other thing is we want to look for a solid aluminum flagpole, like about a 30-foot flagpole that is significant. We want it based in cement, and that would stay there. The question later on down the road will be who takes care of the flag, or if we just get a flag and put it there and then have a light on it so it's lit during the night. But I'm waiting. I've been talking to Bob. Who's the commissioner? Berger. Bob Berger had some work that he had to have done for other committees, and he had to buy some flagpoles. So I just checked with him before we left for vacation, and he said that he's just getting his information together, and then I'll get information about the flagpole. But again, where that's separate from the sign, if that's under 10 grand, I don't have to go out to bid either. So then it's just a question of Andy Gelberg and I sitting down and drafting what would be on the sign, getting positions as to where it should be and what we want to do with the flag. And I think it'd be a wonderful feather in the cap for our committee.
Yeah.
And we would bring it to the CPC. What would happen is that the only downside is that I would have to step away when the CPC did anything relative to this article. But I don't think, who's going to vote against an article like this? So so that's what we're going to do. The other thing that I talked to Andy about is, and he does a lot of stuff, and sometimes he pisses off people too. He's a talker. He had a little go around, I know, at Memorial Day time. I can't remember if it was with the Post or what, but he found that they were putting out flags and just putting them on Grafton veterans, and he went rap shit. And he was just, the flags have to go on all of the veterans, but he's good though, and he does good work. But I asked him to send a letter to the select board and ask to be appointed to our committee. And I think that his knowledge, his skills, his abilities, I think would be a real good thing. And, I don't know how to say this so it's polite, but due to he's 100% VA disability, and the majority of that is Agent Orange affecting his ability to walk. He now is no longer able to drive. So anywhere he goes, his wife, who you've probably seen before in the credit union, but she has to drive him around and things like that. So he has a lot of time at home that he does a lot of research on stuff. And I think that that really could help us out a lot.
Yeah.
So I asked him to do that. And my little 2-minute, the notes I made, those just little notes there, I took up the whole time, sorry.
No, you're fine. I was so is the Preservation Committee the same as the Historical Society for Grafton?
No, Community Preservation are the people that have the checkbook.
Okay.
Okay. The Historical Society is and will be involved in my development of this, because some of the information that we got, that I sent to you, was from the Historical Commission back decades ago. So I will touch base with them. We've got the historical representative on the CPC, and I'll talk with him about straightening it out with them in case they have their nose out of joint about any of this.
Yeah.
So I'll run with that.
Because I noticed in the notes that you sent out, you put that 14 of the original 35 families that settled in Grafton are buried there.
Right.
And so I didn't know if there was something that if they wanted to, I would want it separate. I would want like, you know, the Veterans Memorial, but if they wanted to do something as well at the same time for the historical aspect of, you know, close to half of the founding families are also buried
Yeah.
there as well.
Yeah, I really had ambivalent feelings here because there's no sign there at all.
Right.
You know, and to think of the veterans are certainly outnumbered. I think there's, I got my note here, 400 plots.
Yeah.
And 98 are veterans. So that's only 25% of the cemetery. So I thought it was rude if we don't at least acknowledge the other people there. But as a veteran society, hone in on the 98 vets, and you start listing things like the French Indian War, the Spanish American and Revolutionary. Oh my
Right.
God, you know?
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
And I'm old.
This is before your time.
Well, up to the Civil War.
Yeah.
I still have my
So-
blue jacket.
And I think if we at least include the historical society and say, hey, we realize that there's two significance here. There's the veterans, there's also the historical significance with the 14 families. And then, you know, when we go to pitch this to the CPC, now you have two different committees.
Mhm.
And plus, you know, that shows that we'll work together with other committees too.
So
don't
what I
want
would like
somebody
to,
come back.
I'm sorry.
No,
what
I
I
was
would
just gonna
like-
say, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, you know, wouldn't want somebody to come back and go, wow, you cared about the veterans, but not about the founding members, or, you know, I could just see that being a
Absolutely.
wrench in it.
Absolutely. What I would like to do is I'd like to make a motion that the Grafton Veterans, what the hell's our name? Grafton
Veterans Advisory Committee.
Veterans Advisory Committee pursue a Veterans Advisory Committee pursue a project of making a sign and a flagpole for the old cemetery that lies between Oak and Providence Road.
Second.
Get a second.
Second.
Bob DeToma.
Aye.
Lucas,
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
Holly,
I,
Justin, I. All right, motion passed.
All right, thank you.
Let's pursue it.
All right, so what I'll do is I'm going to start working on this now because there's a lot that really has to be done. And as you just said, Stoney, is that because it involves historical and things like that, we need to let them know what we're doing and make sure we're not stepping on any feet.
Yeah.
So we've got to do that as well. So we got a ways to go, but we're aiming at the Springtown meeting. And
Okay.
I will certainly, once we have arrived at what we thought would be a good sign, okay, what would be on there, I will bring it back for all of us with enough time for you to review it before a meeting. And we can have another vote as to whether or not we want to go forward with that.
Okay.
But again, what I'm aiming at is Springtown meeting.
Sounds good. Then just let me know for the agenda items as we move forward, if you want this on the agenda. If not, I'll just assume that you're working it. And maybe like in November, I'll ask for an update.
Yeah,
See if you need
if I get anything significant, I'll shoot you an email
Okay.
and let you know. But other than that, I'll just be the regular old and adorable guy that I am.
Sounds good. Waiting for you to grow the beard so you can be Santa and Christmas. Bob, would this be something that we should bring up to Evan now? Just say, hey, we're pursuing this going forward, and then maybe he can help us with anything that we may need assistance with.
Make sure we're following proper procedures and protocols. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, well, I'll do that.
Okay.
All right, let me just take all of the action items that go with this.
Okay.
Right, and I didn't even that wasn't even crossing my mind, but it's obvious that I should touch base with them. But I will do that and report.
That's what we're here
back.
for. All right.
And I just wanted to show you my notes again.
It's
And
better
the
than
thing
mine.
this is from stuff that I got from the VA, so there's like little flags down
I know, that's pretty nice.
He had to
Getting
wait
all fancy.
with that notepad.
there.
Okay, so the last agenda item is I wanted to touch base and see if anyone knew of anything going on for Veterans Day. Like, does the Legion, does the BFW do anything? I reached out to Carmen and he never got back with me. So is there anything that the town of Grafton does that maybe we need to reach out, see if people need help with, volunteers?
I can't think of anything.
I don't think they've ever done anything either.
Yeah, we don't matter.
Sounds good. I didn't think so, but I couldn't remember. I just didn't want to be caught off guard. With that, is there anything else that anyone wants to bring up or talk about? No. All right. How does our next meeting on Thursday, October 20th at 1900 sound?
Did you put the 30th on the agenda?
No, I've got the 20th.
All right.
Yeah, so Stony, this is Holly. Unfortunately, we have a big event with the Haunted Hayride. So I'm dedicated to the Lions Field all day on the 20th. Over.
Okay. Is there a better date that works for you?
Whatever works for the team, any day that during that week is fine, except for Monday. So that Monday and 20th, I think, is what, a Thursday? Yes, Thursday.
Yeah. Okay.
And is that the fourth Thursday, by the way?
No, it's the 3rd.
Okay. So I got CPC on the 4th. And I think on the Monday of that week, I've got Bob and I have cable meeting.
Okay. So
Well,
I'll
if
leave-
Thursday works for everyone, Stony, I can just see if I can step away for the meeting, if we can stay within the 45 minutes to an hour. That shouldn't be a problem, because I don't want to move it for just because of me. Over.
Okay. I'll be honest with you. I mean, besides the minutes, we really don't need we hardly ever really vote on things. Just because we're still getting the hang of all this. So if you can't make it, you can't make it. That's fine. But we'll leave it right now for Thursday, October 20th. When I send out the agenda, if anybody has any issues, then bring it up at that point and we can work it then.
I can make every effort to be quiet.
Second,
Might need a third on that one.
For the 20th?
I'm sorry.
Are we
Yes,
still
sir.
20th?
Yeah. We'll push for October 20th at 1900. If anything changes between now and then, just let me know. We'll work it.
Want to say hi to everybody?
Hola.
That was my wife that just went by. Isn't she adorable?
Hi. She's better than you. She's more adorable
yeah.
than you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not really hard to do, Sodi.
So can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
In a second?
second,
All right. Bob DeToma,
yes.
Lucas Remillard,
Yes.
Holly McCormick,
Yes.
Jim Gallagher,
Gallagher, aye.
Justin Stone. Aye. This meeting is adjourned. I will see you all next Thursday, next month, October 20th on Thursday at 1900.